What's going on, y'all? Let me see.
Hey,
Okay, let me see.
it's just me.
Okay, you got some nice lighting going on in there. I got.
Oh, listen. I come prepared with my LED ring light. Okay, let me turn it up so I can be flawless.
Line. Well, here we go.
We turned up so I can be flawless.
Can y'all hear me still?
I can.
Okay, I can't even hear you when I got my mic in. That's crazy.
Can you hear me? I got my
No mic. I'm good. I'm gonna do it like this.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Well, let me know. Let me know if you need me to adjust my volume or do anything like that.
Okay, now you good. This is just practice mode right now, and then I'm gonna turn it on in a few minutes. Let me make sure I get the rest. Finding buyers. Rest of the topics. I just was on the call with Next Level Mastermind. They had a good call too.
Okay.
All right, let me see here. Oh, this is a good one. What's up with that? YouTube. Okay.
It's early. Like you said.
Yeah, we got a couple more minutes left. Chris and I were gonna get on this early to make sure everything, cause he's doing something else when he broadcasting all over the place. I don't know what my man is doing, but he's doing something that I like. Let me move this up the back, right? I know I'm clean, but okay.
Oh, wow.
What's good, folks?
What up? What up?
How you doing, Chris?
Great.
How are you, Greg?
You?
I am wonderful.
With all that money on you, what you doing over there?
I know, right?
Wait a minute, I'm in the wrong crowd. I gotta go get with the money crowd.
I just wear what my father gives me.
I know that's right. Papa knows best. Papa was a rolling stone.
Amen.
What up? How y'all doing?
What's going on, G? How you doing, brother?
I'm out here living, man. Just trying to take it one day at a time like everybody else.
I heard that. All right, let me get these last little notes down. Okay, here we go. What we're gonna do.
Want that.
Okay, so what I have down for topics right now is and I'm gonna just broadcast this. Is just power credit, like finances and stuff like that, and then go into creative deals and financing. Whether it's doing seller financing, all this type of stuff. It can go into contracts, like putting different things in contracts, allotting time if things get moved back, stuff like that. Finding buyers, touching on that real quick because people are struggling with that. How have you changed like your marketing or anything in terms of like shifting from doing cold calling to this or stuff like that? And then more along the lines of letting it be free and opening up towards the end where we start to talk about, mental health, things plaguing Black people, just the numbers in that sense and stuff like that. Is that cool with everybody?
Sure.
Sound like you got a plan there, man. You getting good at this stuff.
Always got the plan, my brother. You know what I mean?
I was trying to see, is there a way to make it so all of our pictures show on once, or is that just my screen doing it?
I can see everybody, but
You know what, Chris? If you do gallery view, sir, top right corner.
Oh, okay.
You may have it on speaker view where.
There we go. There you go. See, you so smart.
I'm resourceful and all.
Top right corner.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Oh, wait a minute, because I was going to put it on this other live, so I want to make sure it looked nice and clean. Okay, so I think I got it.
Right. So yeah.
Dark in here. Or am I just that dark looking?
And then when other people join, the more the merrier. You may have to
slide it.
Advance your page to the right, and then you'll see all the other participants.
There we go.
Okay, perfect. So I think I got all this here because I'm actually going to put it where it's streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and 2 other places too at the same time. I'm just trying to make sure it all works. I did this the other day for the first time. I said, I'm trying to hack computers. We're trying to quadruple stream stuff.
Yeah, I seen my man. He said, I'm going to have this streaming on 7 different platforms. I said, cuz.
Yeah. I think StreamYard, I just signed up for StreamYard as one of the platforms that will help you mass distribute your lives. And you can integrate and connect your other social media platforms. So when you go live, you can post simultaneously to all those other places.
Yeah, that's what I'm using now. Exactly that. So yeah, because I'm putting it in I'm actually going to share it in several Facebook groups as well. So I just want to make sure it looked right. So it looked good now. So I'm going to start this live. It's not, I didn't start it yet because I don't know.
I'm glad you told me. So I showed up with my eyelashes and lip gloss. Like, you can't be just.
Oh, you know, you woke up like this. Don't play. You woke up like this. Don't be acting like.
Tell me you gonna be multiplying the broadcast.
Exponentially, bro. Was not played. Did not come in and play.
All right, we gonna turn it on now then, so y'all can go. We can get this thing whenever y'all ready.
All right, cool. I wanted to give like a couple panelists like a few more minutes, like maybe like.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah.
You should actually be able to see it on there too if you look. But yeah, so where is everybody from anyway? I didn't know. I know you down in Texas, right, Greg?
Yeah, I'm in Texas, man. Originally from Louisiana. I've been in Texas since '92. So yeah, definitely Texan. I can't put my cowboy hat on right now because it looks a little weird in my
I said we got the real estate cowboy on this month. I said we good.
I'm saying where your hat is. Wait a minute. Uh-oh. Swapped it out.
Okay, bro.
Listen. G'd up, okay?
That's what I'm talking about.
Love it.
I was going to introduce him as a real estate cowboy.
Are you the real estate cowboy? Is that your name or what?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is what I look like every day. Normally I got the, I'm in the house right now. We in quarantine, so I ain't no point in me advertising. We buy houses and can't nobody see me.
I know, right? That's how I feel.
Like, oh man, they know you buying them. Give me 1 second. I gotta check something. I don't want to be on the microphone.
Okay. Well, you know how they say, in sales, you go ABC, always be closing.
Yeah.
I think that it should be ABM, right? So always be marketing. Sure. Be in the bathroom, brushing your teeth with your t-shirt on. Listen, what we doing today? You talking to yourself. You're like, this is what we gonna do today. Today we crushing it. Today.
That's fact.
You ain't saying nothing but a word with me. Hold on 1 second.
So he done went and put another one on.
I know, right?
They Transformers up in this mud.
I already feel out of character, so let me go ahead and get back in my normal.
What's those some swords in the background? What you got? Some samurai swords?
Oh yeah, that's my home security right there. Don't pay that no money.
Oh.
They walk up in that house, they got a real surprise, huh?
I got sword. Man, this is you ever seen that show Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Yeah, that's my house right there.
That's a movie?
Yeah, that's a movie. I got swords and gun. Man, I don't want to tell too much of my business in public, but let's just say this is the safest place to be right here.
Okay, yeah, okay, now we good. We out here.
Okay.
All right,
I love
I'm
it.
about to just go ahead and get rolling, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool because we already got, look like 14 people already started watching over here. We actually got some comments
now, man. Let's get this show rocking, man, and I'll introduce people as they go along and stuff.
Cool.
All right, look like we're on. Welcome everybody to the call today. We appreciate you all's time. There's a lot going on across the industry and really around the world. And so we wanted to take our time. And I had a lot of people in mind. Well, not a lot of people, but select few people that have been watching in the industry and that really haven't stopped and that mean a lot to you all. They mean a lot to me. And so that's what's really brought us here today. So I wanted to make a couple notes before we even really started. This is why I chose these panelists. So there's a lot going on right now. There's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of people worrying. There's a lot of death going on. There's a lot of divorces going on. There's hell, we got REI beef. You know what I mean? We got friction in the industry right now. And so seeing this stuff, I think there's no better time for leaders to step up, number one. And then also, there's a lot of people when there's so many distractions that are going on. We're constantly looking left, looking right. And then there's not so many people that are, here, let me get Glenn on here right now. There's not so many people that are actually focused on the path. So these are all people that I respect who have not deviated from the path that they've been going on. They're still doing live, they're still doing podcasts, they're still, you know, answering questions, they're still doing webinars. And I want to make a note of that. So if you're seeing leaders do that, which all of them on this call today, this is why they're on here. I promise you that. They're keeping their eyes on the path. I don't want you all to get lost in the sauce when you leave this call. You're going to get a lot of great information. You're going to get a lot of great vibes and energy. You can be pumped up, but none of that matter. If you walk off this call, you watch the news, you get distracted. None of that matter if you get sucked in because you got kids and then you don't know what to do with them. You know what I mean? So keep your eyes on the path and make sure that you apply what you learned today. So let me see if I can get Glenn on here real quick. And then, okay, I'm gonna get Glenn in here. And then I'm gonna introduce everybody real quick. Fritz, I'm gonna move you over real quick. And then let me see if there's anybody else. Okay, I see you, Kerry. What's going on, my brother?
Hey,
okay,
hey.
so look, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna introduce everybody really quickly here, and then we're gonna go ahead and get rocking, man. So first person I see is Jackie Jackson. So she's doing a lot of phenomenal things. Y'all see she got the money suit on, so it's really less I need to say. She's a coach, she's a mentor, you know what I mean? She got virtual calls and everything under the sun going on. So after this call, mind you, last thing I'm gonna say is I'm gonna email everyone that registered, and those of you on live, just reach out with everybody's information, all the links that you want, everything that you could ever want to know about on my send birth certificate. So we're gonna get everything to you after the call. Next person is Chris Monroe, my man, Woke Real Estate. You see, he got the flyer of himself behind him, so he a real deal. You know what I mean? When you hear Woke Real Estate, you know what time it is. You know, so he's got his own podcast, he's streaming in 7 different places right now, and I have a lot of respect for him as well. I got my man, the Real Estate Cowboy over here, my man Greg T. Shine. I feel like you got to say, brother, whole name. You can never just say one part. So he's doing his thing down there, the Real Estate Cowboy, man. He's a fun guy, but don't get it twisted, man. He got that cowboy hat on for a reason, baby. So I'm glad to have you on here, my brother, and I appreciate you, man. He's doing damage down there in Texas. We got Glenn on here as well. And as you can see, you know, everybody has their own different styles on here, you know, from the shirts that they're wearing to the hats that they're wearing, from what you see in their offices and stuff like that. So these are some really great people to be investing your time with. So Glenn, I got a lot of respect for you and the movement that you have down there. Your movement is really tied in to really helping Black people. Even though you're helping a lot of people, you have a lot of us on there, and it's really centered around, you know, economic development from our standpoint as well. So appreciate you as well. And then we got Fritz on there. I think we're gonna wait for 1 or 2 more people when they get on. But we got my man Fritz on here. He does a lot like myself in terms of marketing. He's one of the people that's really well versed, had the course, and then now transitioning to the agency life, right, my brother? Okay, my man. And so we're glad to have you on here as well. So I really appreciate you all sincerely for being on here and really giving back to the people, because when you all are thinking about this type of stuff, like, people don't have to do this. You know what I mean? They don't have to step up. Everyone's already doing well, you know? So we want people to understand that, and then to understand that you could be very well someone that organizes something, whether it be on a large scale or a smaller scale. It's never too small. Like something like this. This is something that I wasn't naturally doing weeks ago. It's just something that I said, hey, look, I can do something too. So you can do it as well. So the first topic we want to get into is really like credit, like leveraging credit, not just, you know, personal credit, which is important, but business credit, you know, because, you know, if you want, there's opportunities out here, you can get a business, a small business for the low right now. And, you know, you're not going to get that with your average Capital One card. You know what I mean? You want to be able to leverage other people's money and then credit as well. So Jackie, I want to get your thoughts on that. Start going off right now.
Listen, gentlemen, the first time I bought a house on a credit card, I was just like, what just happened? I mean, literally, at the county, I just won a tax deed auction. And I specifically chose this county because I read through their frequently asked questions of the payment form that was acceptable. And it said that they take credit card if you win for the acceptable payment if you're the high bidder. So I hightail it down to the clerk's office, down to the courthouse. I'm on the phone with my business credit card provider, the customer service. And I was like, listen, I'm gonna need y'all to approve this, all right? I'm gonna make an unusual purchase of an excessively large amount. and I need y'all to authorize this transaction. And they were like, well, how much is the transaction? And I was like, it's only 24,000.
Let them know, let it go through.
24,000. So, you know, I look back at the power of having that opportunity available to me by establishing my business credit, and it was a blessing to me. Now, of course, you have to be fiscal responsible, correct? So although I took advantage of that trade line, that credit line, what I really was more focused on was the terms and agreements within that credit line, right? So it was like 12 months, a promotional period with 0% interest. So that gave me an opportunity to maximize purchasing a house on a credit card with 0% interest, right? Because a lot of the business credit cards will come with some kind of promotional rate because they're incentivizing you to use it. Now, it doesn't mean 0% payments. It just means 0%.
We like zero.
Right. Don't get caught up in the zero and be like, oh, nothing due. No, something due. Something due. All right. You got a couple of days to figure out how you're gonna make this payment. All right. So make sure you got your exit strategy in place. But that did happen. I purchased using a business credit card houses, and I did it more than one time. But I'm not a huge advocate for it if you're not really, you know, responsible like that. But it is definitely possible. So I'm huge for that.
Awesome. Next person I'm going to move to is Chris. What's your thought on credit? Even if you have cars that you recommend people to do, or little tricks or anything like that?
As far as credit, I would say, you know, I agree with everything she just said. And I don't really use credit for real estate or for any business, to be honest. I use the other person's credit. You know, I know a lot of people say, you know, either, you know, piggyback or get on somebody as a trade line and things like that. But as far as real estate is concerned, the very first house I bought subject to existing financing, where I didn't have to do anything with as far as my credit. And, you know, the debt is still in the seller's name, and I have somebody living in there paying on it every month, like clockwork, even through this COVID-19. Keep paying. And so as far as credit, I'm probably not the best person to ask about it because I don't use my credit. I use everybody else's. And that's the strategy as well.
It really is. I'm glad people can hear that. You know what I mean? Because there's other people on here that are going to obviously take your route. If you're successful at it, then you know what problems do we have with that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Glenn, what's your thoughts on credit or you know, and things of that nature? How are you using that, if you are using it?
Not a whole lot. Well, let me first start by saying this, if it's okay. I want to say, listen, thank you so much for having me, man. You know, when you reached out to me, you know, I consider to be in the company of folks like you all it's a call of duty. Right. You know, when somebody say, hey, listen, it's time to step up, that ego, you know, I don't have one. But that ego goes out the door. You know, there's no big eyes and little U's, as I always say. So thank you again for the opportunity. This is an opportunity for me. I know it's a whole bunch of stuff that y'all know that I have no clue about. I've never actually purchased a property on a credit card myself. I have taught some of my students how to do it. I haven't done it personally. You know, they say you should be doing stuff if you're teaching it. You know, I told them it's a way to do it. But I've actually, for the first 16 years of my career, 16 and a half, 17 years, I never used any of my own money or credit, right? You know, I'm like, Chris, everything I bought was in somebody else's name. Or, you know, I didn't have to, you know, put it in anybody else's name. You know, people would deed properties over to me. But after that, I started learning how to leverage, like I'm leveraging other people's credit, and I started learning how to leverage my own, you know, only for the purpose of refinances and things like that, because I started being more mindful of creating a portfolio. Like, you know, I wholesaled and fixed and flipped, you know, like I said, first 16 years because I wanted the money. I was greedy. But I had to start recognizing, in order to play the long game, it was going to be important for me to get my credit in order and have that, and then teach my students to do the same thing, because, you know, I teach people, you know, what's called real life real estate investing. So, if you're going to be a real life real estate investor, you're going to be in this thing for life, right? So fixing and flipping is not a lifelong way of investing, in my opinion. So you got to get your credit in order. I mean, and not just your personal credit, I agree with what Jackie said. Having that business credit is certainly something at a moment's time where you can call up and say, hey, listen, I need that $24,000 or $25,000 increase. Make it happen. In your business credit, that's not unlikely. They're more likely to do that in your business credit as opposed to your personal credit, because they know that there's something behind that that's going to cause you to be able to pay that back. So, I'm all for it, and I would definitely use that strategy as well. So thank you, Jackie. I'm going to buy my first property on my business credit card.
That's what's up. Hey, man, I appreciate you all having on as well. I'm glad D's hopping on right now, because this is something that he almost came in flying with a super cape on right now. But let me jump to Greg right now, man. What's your thoughts on credit, man? How are you using it, if you're using it at all? It's good that people get to see that, hey, look, there's people out here that don't necessarily need credit, because some people are really worried and sweating and losing their minds about, oh, my credit's messed up, or I don't have it, or it's going to take too long to get it, or what do I do? Or I see other people doing it. How can I do that? This lets you know right here. You could be on a panel. You could have assets and a portfolio without even using credit. You know what I mean? So, Greg, what's your thoughts on that, my brother?
Man, well, I absolutely use credit. When I first started, as a matter of fact, I saved enough money for my down payment on my first property, because I started out fixing and flipping. So I saved the money for the down payment, but in order to rehab the property and everything like that, I use my credit cards. There are certain business credit cards that also have, my first business credit card actually came with a checkbook. So it was like writing a check from my regular bank account, which, so if you utilize it right, you can do a lot of things with it. So outside of that first credit card, and I had like a $20,000 Home Depot credit card and those credit cards. So those type of lines of credit allowed me to do a lot of the fix and flips when I first got started, and I still utilize credit.
Nice. I got another question for you, my brother. What you seeing from like points? You getting points when you're using your credit card? How are you using your points? All that type of stuff. You know what I mean? What's going on the backside there?
I don't know if you follow me online, but I travel a lot, and it has a lot to do with the points that I'm getting from using my credit cards as well.
Right
so I've done a lot of traveling off of the points, so definitely a lot of benefits there too.
Gotcha. You may need to get up a little bit so we can hear you better too. I don't know if it's just me. Oh, you got headphones? All right, never mind.
I got headphones on, man.
Okay, my man. You just got that baritone, But anyway,
my bad.
Yeah, no, you good, brother. Hey, one thing I can say about points is, like, depending on how you use them, make sure you check what points. You get more points for doing certain things. Like for advertising, I do a lot of Facebook ads for real estate investors. You get a certain amount more points. Fritz, you already know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? You get a certain amount of points for doing ads, Facebook ads, so you got to make sure you get the fine line. And even if you call a representative to get to know them, hey, where can I use these best in terms of my business? Because you can fool around and have stuff getting paid for, you know what I mean? And that's important for us as well. So let me jump to you, Fritz, and then we're going to go to you, D, so you can cap it off. That'll be perfect.
Yeah, so like a lot of people, I don't use credit too much. As in big purchases. I use credit for advertising, like you said, Facebook, any marketing that we do, we always do it like that, just because with the points, cashback, on some credit cards, you get paid to use their credit card. And for something that you're already going to pay for anyways, it makes sense to use a credit card and use those points and rewards to even market even more. So I've never purchased a house with a credit card. I've never even called the bank up and said, I need the X amount. I've never done that before, but using it for everyday things that I'm already going to pay for anyways has me secure for when I do need it one day. So that's why we do it. That's really the only way the only credit card stuff that we use in our business.
Okay, right on, my brother. Okay, D, talk to me, my brother. This is D Stevens, my man. The mean God down there, man. He's keeping a lot of us afloat. Sometimes
what's up
with all those memes, man? You know what I mean? So we appreciate you for that. But he's a really big in terms of mentorship. Get you a coach. You know what I mean? So talk to us about things that you see in credit, the ways that you use it, ways that other people use it, whether they're just getting started or whether they're in the game and they think they've exhausted the ways that they can use credit.
Yeah, for me, what we do is, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so for me, what we do is a lot of creative deals. seller financing, lease options, things along those lines. And then what we do is a lot of times we force appreciation on the properties. So we get them below wholesale, then force appreciation, then turn around and then do a cash out loan on it. And that's how we leverage credit, right? Because it allows us to buy time. And if we get to the point where we pick up too many deals, then we can wholesale those deals using creative strategies on the seller financing or the lease option. So for us, we like to use business credit. Sometimes when we first started, we use personal credit as well to tap in to do the repairs. So it helps us become liquid. It helps us stay liquid, because one of the things I first noticed is that we picked up a lot of properties because we had a lot of cash at hand, but if we ran into issues with additional repairs, maybe it needed a new HVAC system, another $6,000, it would strain our budget. So we noticed that, okay, we really got to start focusing on building our credit up into the 700s, close to 800 as possible. And then from there, leverage business credit, because they'll give you more in business credit than they will in personal credit. Also, with the business credit, they're not really looking at the utilization like they would be on personal credit, trying to keep it below 30, 35, or 50%, whatever, depending on which one you're looking at and what you're using. So that's how we use credit in our business, is really just to allow us to do more deals and keep us in a comfortable position.
Nice. One note about D real quick is when I was calling people, sometimes I'm relentless. Jackie, I called her early. I'm getting better with this. I'm pretty
so
relentless.
I literally had to unmute myself because gentlemen, he called me like, it was like 5 a.m. It was literally 5 a.m.
That to you too? Oh.
Literally 5 a.m. And I
Go to
looked at the
sleep.
phone. I did. But you know what? I'm up and I normally get up early. I'm an early riser and I meditate early in the morning. And, that's when I commune with my, my creator, with God and stuff like that. So I was actually up. But I looked at it and I looked at the caller ID and I was like, really? He must be on fire. As a matter of fact, he better be on fire. He better be calling me talking about, Jackie, help. I'm under the car. And come get me. Like, anyway, but I answered, and here I am.
We had a great conversation as well. And I called D too. This is how I knew it was good people being set up on this call. When I called D, it was like 10:30 p.m., at least on my time. He was already still at his property. So if that don't let y'all know on the other end of this, what type of bar or level of standard that you need to be at, during these times is when you should be expanding. This is the only reason why this call is happening, because we all expanding. You need to be putting out more content. Even if you scale back paid advertising or paid methods of cold calling, you can expand the brand for free. You hear me? So now I want to segment into the challenges that you faced during, as a result of the pandemic. It can be personal challenges within your family. It can be challenges of communicating, isolation. And then also, and it can be in the business as well. And then how have you adapted? Like, what have you done? What type of, because it's one thing to get stopped, and then it's another thing to circle back around and make it happen, And I feel like it's only natural as humans for us to get in positions as a result of something that on a worldwide scale, as it's affecting everyone, you know what I mean? So we're all facing obstacles. I want to see how you all are responding to those as well. So I'm going to start with you, Chris. What type of obstacles have you faced in this pandemic? And if you haven't really faced some that are of magnitude, how have you adapted regardless? Because I know you're pivoting and shifting and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, so as far as actual changes or challenges, I mean, there has been a few, but I wouldn't say it's too much. A lot of people make it seem like, oh, it's so bad. But the thing is, I was already doing virtual real estate anyway. So it was I was locking up property without going to it and stuff like that. So a lot of people have to shift from doing I got to go run to go see it and verify everything and lock it up then and do all of this stuff. That's what a lot of people ran into. I didn't really run into that because I was already doing a lot of virtual wholesale deals and virtual deals altogether. But some challenges that I have come across when we talk to some of these people that are actually in pre-foreclosure, a few of them actually have it in their mind that they have plenty of time to work this out. And I'm like, no, you don't. You better go on and get this done. So, some people have it set in their mind that, that they got time to do it. And, there's no foreclosures going on right now. So we can play this game and play it off. And, we all right, we good to go. But then on the flip side, you got motivated landlords now that are not receiving rent and things like that. and they're actually looking to, you know, unload property that they may have been thinking about selling for a while, and now they're like, well, if the rent ain't coming in, I'm getting rid of this thing. So they're willing to sell their property. So, you know, it's a give and take in everything. I don't really see it as a negative or a positive. It's just, you know, you have to adjust with the marketplace, because the market is always going to determine what we need to do to make things happen and become successful in this business.
I agree. If you're really listening and you're, you know, you're listening to podcasts and you're listening to like things like this, webinars and stuff, you'll notice that people a lot of the times are saying, hey, look, this is something that I wish I was doing back then. So oftentimes these things happen to force us into a lane that we should have been doing anyway. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going through some pain or uncomfort or discomfort or anything like that, it's probably for your best benefit. You know, it's probably something that you should have been doing in the first place, which is.
Yep. Everybody in that comfort zone, locked back, chilling. Like, you got to go, you got to be pushing regardless if times are good, because it's not always promised. Because, you know, they always said that this economy may crash, but nobody never thought it would happen under Trump. So that's the shocker that got everybody like, oh, no, not now. But now, you know, it can happen under anybody. So you got to be woke or you'll be broke.
Oh, okay, Prince, I'm going to go to you, bro. What type of obstacles have you faced, and how are you adapting in the marketplace and otherwise?
So, you know, as some of you may know, like 90% of my marketing is Facebook. So I preach it. I love Facebook marketing, but like everything else, it took a hit with everything that's going on. So one of the things that we've done to kind of pivot is to go from being aggressive on getting leads to getting aggressive with educating and taking control of this space. So on Facebook, so a lot of people have stopped marketing and they're chilling, like, you know, like everybody said. So what we're doing is we're doubling down on videos and letting people know what we're doing to stay safe and what we're doing to still be able to do deals. Because most people have the time to actually consume the content that we're putting out now, because everybody's at home watching videos. Like, people are running out of things to watch, as a matter of fact. So it's a great time to put out videos and teach people what you actually do. Because before, you kind of like shorten that in with the ads, because people don't have the attention span. Now people do have the attention span. So what we're doing is we're placing all these videos. We're doing PDFs with frequently asked questions, and that people can download and hold on to if they have any questions. And we're making sure that we're flooding our market and becoming the authority now. So when everything goes back up, we're already in that space, and that momentum continues on for everything recovers. That's really what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, becoming an authority, because people think at this time right now, it is buddy right now in some cases, aside from that real estate beef and all that goofy stuff going on. But at the same time, you got to think about it. It's not just about just being kumbaya. Somebody has to sit at the top of the mountain. And guess what? It might as well be you, you know? So sometimes you don't always have to go hard through this. It's a tough time. Sometimes all you got to do is just maintain and endure, and you'll still end up at the top because people are retracting, you know? So with that said, Glenn, I want to move to you. What type of obstacles have you seen? Are you enduring? And then how have you adapted? What type of shifts and pivoting have you done to make sure that you and the people that you're responsible for, that you're taking care of?
Well, well, as far as challenges, well, I mean, I do a lot of Facebook marketing and things like that. I do some online. You know, most of my business is about 95% online. I do virtual wholesaling. I teach virtual wholesaling. So, the one challenge that I would see is that a lot of my students have become a little comfortable. Like, this is a time for me, like, you know, my biggest challenge is now implementing all the things that I've always been trying to do, and trying to do that in the midst of like already working, you know, 90% virtually anyway. Like, you know, the getting out and running, you know, hats off to guys like Chris. I don't really go and look at houses a whole lot because I do most of my stuff virtually. But as far as the challenges is to, you know, kind of get, you know, my students to be able to take advantage of these times where people are at home and they can answer the phone and things like that, and pushing them into the understanding, like, this is where the opportunities are, you know, where opportunities are being created, and we have to foster those relationships with people, even while they're still in denial, I guess, if you will. You know, just fostering relationships and not pushing people to make any decisions right away if they're not ready to, but just fostering relationship. Hey, letting them know, listen, we're here to help. If you run into a situation, this is what we do. We've been here before. These things have happened, and we just want to be the people that offer the service for you to be able to, survive this situation. The biggest challenge is, doing like everything I have on my vision board, like yesterday. Because my mindset is I have time now. And I say that from working from home most of the day, all day is what I do anyway. So being quarantined is no issue for me. But the time that I will be out networking and out at events and things like that, I'm kind of grabbing that time back and using that time to be able to implement some of the things that I've already been, planning to do anyway. So I'll be providing a lot of content and information, for the folks that are, be looking for stuff. So that's where I'm at, where I am right now.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, we're gonna make sure that we get on the email following this everybody's information. So because there's a lot of resources, and there's even more than us. But if I just sent them the email of everyone's podcast links and where they can find everybody, you'd have enough knowledge and insight within that to consistently have you ride through this whole pandemic just with us alone.
By the way, I've watched every single one of y'all's videos, so I'm consuming content too.
Right.
I checked out everybody's stuff. I checked out everybody's stuff.
So D, what are your thoughts on obstacles that people are facing, even people that you coach and stuff like that, and in ways that you can foresee that they can adapt?
Well, I would just start with the obstacles. Well, when the coronavirus first hit and things started shutting down, a lot of buyers started backing out, not because they didn't want to do the property. Initially, it was mainly because the hard money lenders started to change their requirements. Because a lot of people, they have cash, but they're not cash. You got what I'm saying? So a lot of people were really dependent on hard money lenders to do deals. So we had like 4 deals that's kind of got caught up in a mix of on something we were just going to wholesale. So those will be like the main obstacles right there. Then after that wave, then the second wave were a lot of buyers were concerned about, we don't know when this thing is going to be over, especially when they started extending this stay in place, shelter in place initiative with Trump. So those are the 2 of the big things, right? As far as what I've done, well, I already ran a virtual style business from what, because I travel a lot. I do the Southeast mainly, and a couple of things up in Maryland, DMV area. So I travel a lot. So it's not a big deal for me. One of the benefits of the coronavirus for us was that people and sellers that we initially planted seeds with, as far as buying a property cash so we can assign our interest, or even maybe we would take it down ourselves and maybe turn it to a rental or flip it or whatever. They were more flexible now with terms, right? So even at the same price, right? So we have a guy that's flexible with terms at $45,000 on a property that only needs like $20,000 worth of work, and it'll be like $115,000, right? Then we have another guy, tired landlord up in Maryland, where he didn't want to entertain seller financing, right? So now he wants to entertain seller financing on 4 properties. And what I'm saying? So now we can do whatever we want to do with the property. So it's been a hindrance in some areas, but it's also been a huge benefit because it softened up a lot of people where we planted seeds at. So for us, especially going into it with creative financing, it just made it easier for us.
Right on, yeah. And even with a lot of our clients, we've generated a lot of leads for them. And then when this was first going on, we circled back to them saying, look, some of those sellers that maybe you had on the list for wait 3 months, or follow back up with them at these times, circle back around to them now, because they're going to be more open. And that helped a lot. And then if you found, that'll accelerate your process for getting more deals and then helping more people. So that's an important thing to note as well. Greg, what you been doing down there in terms of or enduring, or in terms of facing obstacles, and then how overcoming those?
Going crazy. I'm on self-diagnosed ADHD. I'm pretty sure I am. So I don't mean, I personally enjoy getting out of the house every day and meeting people. So that's kind of where a lot of my leads and it comes from networking and organically creating relationships. So it's been a real struggle not being able to get out there and meet people and network like I want to. So I would say that's been the number one struggle, because I don't have kids running around or whatever. I don't have any children, so I don't have any a lot of things to do at home. But so on the other hand, it's forced me to go back to my basics and continue to educate myself and pick up on things that I've been putting off, the important but non-urgent things that I've been putting off for probably years now. So it's forced me to go back and actually get back to that, and also follow up with a lot of the old leads that I've had for a while, because a lot of people that may have been on the fence are now a lot more motivated, and because of everything that's going on. So I would say the biggest challenge has been forced to sit still, but it's also given me opportunity to get back and take care of things that I've been slacking on.
Yeah, I actually, funny thing is, I mean, I guess it's not that funny, but it'll be funny. It ain't that much funny to us. But I'm like you, man. Like, I don't have kids. Usually I would go out and socialize at least on the weekend. And I was like, man, what am I going to do? And then the other day I was thinking about it. I'm like, these calls in a certain type of way, it's good to get together with your peers at least, and some of your friends, and even be on these calls where it's like you get to, feed off each other's energy. And that does something as much for my spirit as I think that we do for the spirit of people like watching. So these are little things that I saw as the obstacles that I faced. Like, man, what am I going to do here? I can only do so much work. And then getting on these calls and stuff like that, feeding other people, and then also, being fed yourself. So with that being said, Jackie, in terms of the obstacles that you've seen and the ways that you've been able to adapt, because I already know you, and when it comes to anybody that has an energy full of spirit, and that's not, I wouldn't worry about in terms of anything like this, it would be you for sure. So I'm curious to hear what your take on this for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. So as far as obstacles are concerned, I think my biggest aha moment of implementation is, like you said, like maintaining a positive outlook no matter what the news says, and just really isolating my mind, really, and guarding against what my mind consumes, because the world will have you think like you should go hide under a rock. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. That it's real estate or whatever. Like, you literally will feel yourself, slipping away if you're not really mindful of guarding against people just telling you all kind of crazy things that are unfactual. And, there's just unsubstantiated information. So you want to make sure that you maintain a positive outlook and just really stay focused on your vision, whatever it is for your life. So with my students, some of the things that I have implemented to make sure that they stay the course is I've had them write a vision and mission statement for their life, right? So a lot of us, we may have vision and mission statements for our businesses, but no, for your life, like for you, like, what do you want for you? Like, why did you come into this business in the first place? Like, what was your why? And I did that intentionally so that I could remind them and make it like presence in their consciousness why they need to stay the course, because they have important things to do. All of us, we got into real estate because we wanted something. Real estate was the vehicle that we used to generate the funds to live our best lives. I've heard you gentlemen say that you travel a lot and so on, like you enjoy the lifestyle of it, but it wasn't necessarily like real estate. You just, you wanted to travel, you wanted to meet people, you wanted to be outgoing, and real estate supports those, luxurious habits. So whatever that why is, I want people to like stay focused on that. So that was the biggest like obstacle for me, is just kind of like gathering everybody in, holding them down, and just like, listen to me. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. There's no crying here. There's no complaining here. There's none of this like, oh my God, the world is ending here. There's no prophesizing, no doom and gloom, none of that crap. All right, we're gonna be all right. Okay, cool. The world is not ending. This is not it. This is not the rapture. It's not it. Okay. So I had to just really do that. And then as far as like pivoting for me, it was, I realized how vulnerable we are as business owners. And the fact that a lot of the platforms and the services that we all take advantage of, whether it's marketing or anything, right? Putting out our message, our content, we don't own that. We don't own any of those systems or those platforms. So if either of those platforms went away, what would our business look like? I mean, a couple of months ago, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, had shut down just for a day. And it was just like, you know what I mean? Like, we all kind of felt it like, oh my God, that could happen.
Yeah, reality check.
Right? And it did. And it happened multiple times. So what I have used this time for is migrating all of my content, all of my business onto a platform that I own and control. All right. So for my social media, it's basically putting my message out there, but I no longer like really use it in a way where I'm storing information, you know, about my business. It's just there. So I realized that there are a wider opportunity outside of social media, right? Because if someone's not on those platforms, then they're not really seeing our marketing message. So I was like, okay, I need to go the World Wide Web, right? So I'm not the smartest person in the group, so I hired smarter people than me, right? To build me
that
a
was
system.
smart.
Yeah, I know.
Right,
I was like, oh, let me do a Trump right now, right? Let me surround myself with a whole bunch of, believe me, let me hire a whole bunch of people that are much smarter than me that can do things for me, right? So I hired this huge marketing team, and they're building systems, customizing things for me, so that no matter what happens, ish hit the fans, I can still operate and be successful, and my students can do the same. So that's where I'm at with that.
Awesome, beautiful answer. Okay, we got Sierra on here. She was handling the call before this. She's a person that I respect in the industry, giving the intro right now. Doing a lot in terms of investing.
What up, sis?
Financial literacy, things of that nature. I think, G, you and her already know each other from what I've seen. And so you even got a TikTok, if I'm not mistaken. So, if y'all need that extra entertainment or anything like that, you can find it all in one place. So where we are right now, I just want to feed you this question right now is, what type of obstacles have you faced right now? Are you seeing in the industry, or in your personal life, and how have you adapted to that during this time?
So first of all, I apologize for being late. Like I said, I was stuck on a conference call that ran way late, but I definitely wanted to make sure I was able to hop on here. I respect all you guys, so I'm super honored to even be amongst some of you guys for sure. But some obstacles that I faced during this time, as you guys know, I am an Airbnb host, so that's really the major obstacle that I faced. But thankfully, we've been able to adjust and to pivot. I think that is really the main thing that people need to know during everything that's going on, is you have to be willing to pivot and to adjust. A lot what's happening is something that, at least me and my own experience have not experienced before, right? So this is very new. So we have to be very open. And so just some strategies that I've used is just research and using my network. I was able to thankfully, get long-term tenants in my units. And so we've also expanded those resources, but the main key is just utilizing my network. And that comes from relationships that I've built before this period happened. And now I'm able to utilize them to help me thrive. And now I'm trying to help other Airbnb hosts do the same. But the key thing, I think, is just learning how to pivot.
Mm-hmm. Nice. That's a really good one, pivoting from being just an Airbnb host. 'Cause I know Airbnb hosts, and this is not something that in our conversation has come up, turning it into a long-term situation for people. So, and then not only that, people that are listening, you gotta understand, once you pivot and you find something that works, it's your duty and responsibility now to help others do that. So that's a beautiful way, and I have a lot of respect for you for doing that. So now I want to get a little deeper into deals. What type of deals are we doing now? Is it seller finances? A lot of these things, it can get creative now. People are finding creative ways to structure contracts, push back, terms, 2 weeks at a time, and things of that nature. So I want to get into what type of deals, what's our needs in the market that you're finding that work very well, and then also on the side of that, if you're doing virtual wholesaling, virtual deals, how are you, in a sense, making sure that, what accommodations have you made to make sure that the contractors are safe? Your dealings with the seller where they trust you? You know, what type of ways are you making to make sure everybody's safe, everybody's accommodated, and people trust you in that? So number one, what type of deals are you doing creatively? You can go into contracts, and then two, if you're doing virtual wholesaling or anything like that, how are you making that work for everybody? Because there is a safety and a health concern that's immense right now. So Chris, I want to start with you on this one, brother.
Yeah. As far as creative real estate, that's the world I live in. I don't know any other way to do it. You know, if I've never found creative real estate, I wouldn't be in real estate. Because, you know, you got to have that good high credit score. You got to have this big truckload of cash. I don't use neither one. So, you know, it's like, you know, creative real estate is everything. And now I see a lot of people trying to learn it now. Like, oh, I think I want to learn this now. Like, man, you're supposed to already been on this stuff. You can't wait. So as far as deals, though, yeah, I've been working several different deals. Some of my favorite deals are no money down deals, you know, or either no money down, 0% interest. And sometimes we get, you know, longer terms, like 10 to 15-year terms on them with, you know, different things like that. It just depends on, you know, the situation. But as far as those, yeah, I prefer, you know, a no money down deal. I bought like 3 houses for under $1,500. Shh, don't tell nobody. But that's closing costs only. That mean I just say I'll pay the closing costs. You ain't got to come out of pocket for nothing. But you know, how many houses could you buy at $1,500? You know what I mean? So so those are the type of deals that I prefer to get. You know, I aim for. You know, we did some other deals as well. As far as the coronavirus and you know, making sure that things are safe, I don't do any fix and flips either. Actually, I don't do anything risky in real estate. If it's high risk, I stay away from it. I do it smartly, where I'm protected all the way around, like you should do it. Like I would suggest anybody to get in the game, be smart, learn these ways to do it to where you're not worried about, oh, if this happens, I'm in trouble. If you're even thinking that you're doing something wrong, you should never feel like, you know, you're doing something illegal, immoral, or you're hurting somebody or anything like that. If you're even thinking that's what it is, you're probably doing something wrong. You're not doing it right. So as far as that though, we do, I have the sellers send video or pictures as well. Most sellers have been cooperative and things where they're actually willing to help because they know we're in this coronavirus and, you know, we got to figure it out. And they're like, yeah, we can take pictures for you. I just tell them exactly what to take pictures of, tell them to step back, tell them to make sure the room is lit up, open windows if you have to get some of that natural lighting if you can. Different things like that so that we basically can get the deal along. And most of the time, most sellers are actually cooperative. Same thing with buyers. If they want to go see a house, we've had it where we tell the seller to go ahead, take a walk the dog, leave the door open or something, and we'll be done in a minute, where they're not either there or where we're either wear gloves or masks or whatever, you know, like the CDC tells everybody to do. So we're taking steps to be as safe as possible, but still to try to get the business done. As a matter of fact, we got a deal closing tomorrow where they're going to be closing the deal from the vehicle. So I guess they're going to bring the documents out and sign off on the closing documents right there at the car, like a drive-through window or something. I don't know. So that's the first one we're doing since the virus hit that I'm going to be participating in, and so that's what they got set up for tomorrow's closing. Close it from your car in the window, out the window.
That's what it is, man. That's what's up. Fritz, what about you, brother?
So I do everything virtually. So I don't. Even before all this, I didn't go to properties. I don't go to properties. So that hasn't really changed. Like everybody else, we've been doing more creative stuff, even with our marketing, which is, like I was saying earlier, it's the perfect time to educate sellers on what you can offer, and you have a longer span to teach them. So you can break stuff up and keep teaching them while all this is happening. And it's a little easier to do creative deals. So I've actually, full disclosure, we've stopped doing, like, focusing strictly on just wholesaling. I'm trying to kind of like build a war chest, really. So I don't want to wait until everything crashes to have rentals and have properties that are generating cash flow. I want to do it now. And to be honest, it's a little bit easier to do it now than it was before. And we were all trying to do it before anyways. So, so our cost per lead may go up a little bit, but the value that we get from trying to get sub-2s and owner finance deals is, you know, you can't beat that. So that's really what we're doing. And as far as staying safe while, you know, getting a property that we have to do a walkthrough, like Chris said, we're having them send us pictures, video walkthroughs, and properties that we do take over, we offer to do any clean outs if necessary and all that. So, it doesn't cost us much to do that, and the seller feels safe. So we just really try to go out of our way to let that people know that we're taking this seriously, and we're still doing what we do on a regular basis. Like buying houses and selling houses is not new to us, but these are the steps that we're doing to still be able to do it. So, and then we've also had sellers that we had owner finance deals and creative deals before all this happened that are a little scared to do that now because of the whole pandemic. So we have both spectrum, and it's really just trying to keep people calm and just give them the education and let them intake the education, and keep giving them the education and not let up. Like just before, everybody would be like, give touches, talk to the sellers. Now you should be trying to educate as much as possible, so that when they're finally ready to make a decision, they're going to think of you, because you've given them pretty much the game, and it'll be that much easier of a transaction. So we're just trying to stack up on rentals and get more properties in the war chest.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, so with me, like I say, mine was always virtual anyway, just because of my lifestyle, right? So when we go to properties now, we generally just kind of keep some nitrile gloves like this, because a lot of people have latex allergies, so we use these black gloves. We also offer them to the seller. I do renovations, so we have N95 masks anyway. So I put whoever's going to the property, and also offer to the homeowner, whoever's at the property. And then we walk around, do the interior walkthrough like we usually do the exterior walkthrough, look at major components of the house like the electrical panel, water heater, furnace, AC heat pump, boiler, depending on what part of the country we're in, to see the condition of it, age of it, things like that, so we can make a good decision. Also the outlets too, another thing we do. Whether it's 2-prong or 3-prong. So we look at things like that in our pictures and videos and stuff as we walk through the property. Creatively, I mean, that's been my go-to, because I transitioned from being a high-end remodeler to being an investor, right? So my background for a long time was in construction. So just being able to shift and become the investor on the deal, as well as if we need to do some type of project management, it's heaven for me. So I'm getting paid from all ends, right? So it's beautiful. And of course, like I say, it's creative all the way around. That's my focus. Double down. My focus is not trying to wholesale properties. I want to have residual income coming in, just like the gas company, the electric company, any billion-dollar or multi-million-dollar company that's out there. They have either subscription or residual income coming in every month. They're not pressing a reset button every time like we would do if we're trying to wholesale all of our deals. So I prefer to keep our properties, whether we're getting seller financing, lease option, contract for deed, whatever we get sub to, whatever we can get it on that the homeowner feels comfortable with. I want to get it right. And then from there, we have, of course, business credit, and then we also have private lenders, people that they're interested in real estate, but they don't want to have to go through and deal with tenants and all that stuff. They just want to make a return. So making sure they're taken care of. Of course, we have to make some adjustments with everything going on now, because obviously things took a windfall. But just staying in communication with everybody, making sure everybody's happy, and just really doing things like that. Homeowners safe, everybody's good. Over communicate as much as possible to move everybody forward. And then as far as us on our back end strategy is either Section 8, which is secondary. Our primary strategy is lease option on our disposition for our creative deals, because we're able to charge a little bit higher rent. Also, we get the option fee up front. And also we shift a lot of the management and maintenance responsibility to the tenant buyer, and also give them opportunity to become homeowners, which is good, because not everybody can go to the bank and get a loan. Nobody can go to Chase and put 20% down, and not everybody has over a 700 credit score to get a house, but people can find money, whether it's from a tax return or a gift from a family member, to put down on a property, and then they can make their monthly rent on the property. And then, you know, we work with them to help them, you know, do whatever they want to do. Whether they want to stay in, rent, buy it, or just continue to rent or move out, whatever they want to do. So just being there and just helping other people get what they want. And the more people we help get what they want, we get what we want.
For sure, for sure. I agree with that. I think this is a really, really good time because I'm in marketing. Part of the reason I'm in here is to help change the narrative as it pertains to investors. A lot of times you see how sellers, they have a negative connotation, negative view of investors. You know, they always want to jerk us on the price, and they don't really care about anything but the transaction. So this is a really good period of time for us as a whole to work to change that narrative, because these people now see that these people, we need them. You know what I mean? It's not anymore you're jerking us on the price. It's like, hey, look, we need you all. You are saving our life. You're giving us closure in a lot of sense of the word. And I think that going forward, this will change and make a shift in the industry as well, for people understanding the good work that we all do in the industry as it pertains to helping sellers out. These are just people at the end of the day. So, Sierra, what's your take on, you know, in terms of creative deals that you may be doing outside of Airbnb or to get those properties, and then any health-related inner workings that is going on when you're helping people move in, or any of that stuff going on in your world?
Well, it's funny because when I started wholesaling, I actually started out virtual because I had just had my daughter. So there's not a lot of adjustments really that I would have to make. I don't wholesale anymore once I start doing Airbnb. But with the key, I think, is definitely, you kind of touched on that a second ago, but you're providing a solution, right? And so I think especially in these times, that needs to be the focus. You need to be not selling them on necessarily the actions, the technical part of what you're doing, but you're selling them on the solution that you are providing for them. Because right now people are scared. People don't know, you know, what's going to happen. And people, they like to be told what to do. They like to be told, you know, okay, what is the next step that I need to take in order to get out of the situation? So if you're going to be wholesaling or trying to do creative deals, obviously it's going to be new information for people. You know, people don't know, like, oh, what is seller financing, or what is a lease option? Sell them on the solution that you are providing for them. And I think that'll put you above a lot of other people in the industry that are trying to do the same thing.
Awesome. What about you, Glenn?
Well, you see, I'm over here taking a whole lot of notes, all these smart people.
Yeah, I got one too, you know.
I mean, I'm just going to echo what actually quite a few of you guys have said. Most of what I've done, I have been doing, is virtual. So, you know, most of everything I do is electronic signing and, you know, all that, and, you know, pictures get sent to me, and it's a yay or nay. You know, because I have students all over the country, so they are primarily going out. You know, some of them are going out to look at the properties, but I'm teaching them, even if it's not necessary, you know, get the seller to send you some pictures, and, you know, do as much as you can from the comfort of your home. So not much has changed in terms of, you know, the real estate portion of it. I mean, for me, I am actually, you know, I don't want to say, you know, I'm an advocate of buying real estate and wait instead of waiting to buy real estate. You know, so I'm actually looking for deals now myself to buy, to add to the portfolio. You know, I'm you know, like I think somebody said, stockpiling, you know, as many properties as I possibly can to, you know, take advantage of that residual income, you know, along with other things that I'm doing, you know, outside of that. You know, you know, it's almost, you know, I dare to say business as usual, for me, you know, because that can go one way or the other in some instances now. But like I said, it's not anything that has majorly changed in my operation. You know, I'm about 80 to 85% automated on most of the things that I do anyway. You know, my goal is to try and get that to at least 99% as much as possible. You know,
be at 100.
Right. Well, see, you know, my goal is 100. I want to see what 100 look like, right? But I'm a little bit of a control freak, so you know, I'm gonna always be peeking in the door and peeking in the window to try to find out what's going on anyway. So, but you know, like I said, I would say it's what I'm consistently doing is educating myself. You know, cause I'm always a student first. I'm always a student first. And again, you know, like I said, I watched everybody on here. I watched content from each and every one of y'all. So, and I've taken some notes now and then. I'm always open to finding the best way possible to make a situation better. And that's what I provide to my students, and that's what I provide to the people that I touch in the real estate world. You know, when I'm talking to a seller about buying their house, I'm an advocate for a win-win-win solution. You know, win for the seller, a win for me, and a win for the person that will ultimately buy from me, whether it be a person that's going to fix it up and sell it, whether I'm the person that's fixing it up to sell it to a retail buyer. I'm always looking for a better way to make things better in those situations. Because, you know, I mean, I'm in business to stay in business. This is what I do, and I like it a lot. You know, love is a little bit pushing it. I like it a whole lot. So I'm just being real. Some people say I love real estate. Yeah, some of them days I'm just like, no. So we have a like a lot relationship. You know, some days I love it. Some days, you know, I'd probably go do something different. But you know, the goal in everything that I'm looking to do is just to provide a better service, provide better solutions, help as many people as possible, educate people while at the same time educating myself. You know, and it's again an opportunity to be, you know, on a panel with people like yourself that I can actually take notes from. So I'm gonna get away from here with some of the information that y'all are sharing. So, and somebody will get it. I won't give it back to y'all just yet, but somebody else is gonna get it.
So you already did a recon on us, huh? Watch him.
Listen, Chris, I done watched so many of your videos, bro. I probably got 3 or 4 pages of notes of your stuff, man.
I only got 170 free videos talking about real estate, tell you how to do all this crap for free, and people paying for it. But, you know, I can't make them do it, you know.
And listen, and I definitely want to say this. I want people to get the context of what I'm saying. You know, people that will watch this. I've been doing this for 22 years. People say that in my opinion, some people say that as a badge of honor. But, you know, for a lot of those years, I took a lot of bumps and bruises, you know, and in that, the major thing that I learned is to keep on learning, right? In that 2008, where a lot of people say, oh, we lost this and lost that. The only thing I lost, I mean, I sold every property that I had. I sold my last one in February 2008 before the bottom fell out. The thing that I lost was opportunity, right? I had a lot of cash, but I didn't reinvest. So that was the education that I didn't have at the time that made it a loss for me. Some people are like, oh, you didn't lose. Yeah, well, if I was smart enough then, I would probably be, you know, traveling as much as some of you guys do. But, you know, those are lessons that I learned, man. And I'm just passing those on to as many people as I possibly can.
That's awesome. And for those of you watching this, and those of you that are going to watch this in the future, I'm sure plenty of people will, keep in mind that this is the theme. That when you're hearing a lot of people on this panel speak, there's a lot of it when we're asking questions, and there's this common thing of not much has changed. You know what I mean? Because you got to think about it. If you're ahead of the curve, and we're talking about virtual real estate and stuff like this, a lot of this stuff was out months ago, a year or two ago, year and a half ago, you know, and the people that took advantage of it now, it's not much has changed for them. You know what I mean? It's not, because it's a hard time. It's like one time I was going to visit my old college, and it was around the time that this was going on. And I ran into one of my teachers, and he had this flustered look on his face. And he's like, man, I got to transition all of this material online. Whereas if he was already ready to do that, it would have had an easier time doing it rather than the few days that you had to do it. So when you're looking at this stuff and you're internalizing all this for the next, because there's going to be another crash, there's going to be another recession, you give it like 10, 15 years, you're going to see it over and over and over again for the rest of the time. So one of the biggest lessons that you can learn is that when you hear something new that's coming along, is to at least educate yourself on it, surround yourself with people that are doing it, so that when a time like this comes in, you are one of those people that's like, well, not much has changed. You know what I mean? So with that said, I want to get your thoughts on this, Greg, any type of deals creatively that you're doing, things of that nature in terms of health and making sure people that are accommodated are safe.
Well, man, at this point, we're kind of beating a dead horse because everything I could say.
Yeah, you're right.
So
No, he don't want to beat no horses. He's a cowboy, man.
I was wondering if somebody gonna say that.
I mean, yeah. So, I mean, honestly, before the COVID-19 and all that stuff even happened, towards the end of 2019, I started liquidating everything anyway because I was trying to reposition myself. Because at this point, anything that I would buy and hold myself would have to be creatively financed, whether it's sub to or owner finance or something of that nature. Because I don't want to have I want to have as few mortgages, loans, debt in my name or my business name as possible. So anything that I hold at this point will be subject to or owner finance. And even then, I'm personally sick of the whole. Choose iPhone. I'm personally sick of the whole playing the landlord game. So I'm also getting into owner financing as well. Like, so creatively financing the property to acquire it and also owner financing. So you kind of get the best of both worlds with the residual income without having the problem of tenants and toilets.
Okay, awesome. I want to say what's up to my man TJ on there. I see you on there, brother. Jackie, you want to closing thoughts on this? We don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, oh my goodness. Everything that we've discussed so far is like music to my ears, right? So the creative financing, all of the strategies, the acquisition, as well as the exit strategies that all you professionals are implementing right now is just amazing. Like, if there's anyone watching right now under the sound of all of our voices, like if they're not taking notes, they are absolutely out of their mind, right? Because we are dropping so much like nuggets, and it's just way beyond nuggets. These are like gems and diamonds that we're sharing right now, and all of us are thought leaders and coaches, in our own markets and so on. So, we charge a lot of money. All right. I know I charge a lot of money. I charge a lot of money.
People pay a lot of money. They pay
thousands.
Hey, listen, Jackie, this is that virtual high five right here.
And I'm okay with it, right? Because the last time I gave some brother some information for free, he like went and made like $24,000 within that same week. So I know what my value is. I'm okay with my charging for my value. But to stay on topic about the conversation, what I absolutely love as far as a strategy is concerned, and it's always consistent, whether sellers are willing to negotiate or not negotiate at all, is tax deeds. Oh my gosh, that is like my go-to strategy, even if for some reason I don't have marketing dollars, right? And I don't have a budget set aside, or my budget is low and I can't like send out my marketing or pay for Facebook ads or whatever that looks like. Right. I love tax deed investing. So why do I love it so much? Because there's 3,141 counties. Look I love it so much that my do-rag, my Tupac do-rag is coming out. Like 3,141 counties or county equivalents across the United States. And the one thing that every property owner must pay is their real estate taxes. You heard? We got to pay real estate taxes for the properties that we own. Okay. So when someone is delinquent, the process to collect is always going to be the same. The county is like, pay up or pay up. Like, it's like pay up or pay up, all right? So that's really what it is. So, my acquisition strategy is tax deeds and tax lien, right? And it doesn't matter what the state is. You just follow whatever that state statute says and that state's procedures. But then my exit strategy on those properties, because you can acquire them for the delinquent taxes by itself, regardless of what the market value is, without even have to communicate with any motivated seller whatsoever. My go-to strategy, just like D, is lease options. I love offering my properties on an option agreement so that I can relieve myself of the responsibilities of being a landlord. I don't like babysitting adults. It's just not my thing. And then another option that I absolutely love is I love being the bank. So Greg mentioned that he's stepping into the realm of actually creating his own notes for the properties that he owns. Now, that's a huge market, right? 9 out of 10 people do not qualify for traditional financing. They just don't meet the guidelines. They meet some of it, but they don't meet all of it. And they continue renting. But it doesn't mean that they don't have the financial means necessary to actually purchase. So those are individuals that are highly underserved, and it's a huge population, and you can do owner financing deals where you become their bank for them, and you can actually create those notes and create residual income for yourself. That's true freedom right there. And if you're scared that your state is a judicial state or a non-judicial state, like whatever that looks like, and you're like, I don't want to deal with any foreclosures in the event that somebody defaults, well, there's all kinds of other strategies for that too. You could create the note, then sell the note, just like the banks do on the secondary market, and get your money back if that's what you want to do, and somebody else could manage and service that note. Or you can actually only do a land contract, like not an actual mortgage, right? Very similar to how we purchase vehicles with financing. If we don't pay, they come pick up the car, right? So a land contract is kind of similar, where ownership is only conveyed upon successful completion of paying off the property, right? So you don't have to fight to get your property back in the event that that borrower doesn't pay you. So that's what I'm focusing on, doing as many of those types of deals as possible, buying low, selling high on owner financing, and creating my own notes.
That's right. That's right. Talking that talk.
Can somebody press the bomb dropping button after she just
And we got about 30 people watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope right now. They put some questions in here. I don't know if you had a lot of questions or not.
Yeah, I was about to ask, man. Run them off, brother. You got a lot of over here. I see one over here. I think we covered it. So,
all right. Yeah, Sunshine over here on YouTube says, question to the panel. We are heading towards everything being completely virtual. Do you feel completely virtual on all sales is the way to go, or would you still prefer face-to-face or phone contact, and why? So since we're going virtual, do we prefer to stay virtual, or do you all like, it sounds like most of you like virtual, but do you like virtual, or will you do it either way it does?
Well,
go ahead, D, whoever.
Yeah, so I think you really have to mix it up. At the end of the day, we're really trying to solve a problem for a homeowner. All right. So, I mean, every conversation is going to be on the phone. So even if you're doing it virtual, you want to at some point jump on the phone for pretty much all of your deals. You got to have some type of conversation that extends past texting or sending an email out. Also, people like to see somebody come to the house. Now, I generally don't go to the house. I generally have boots on the ground, or a student or somebody like that goes to the house, takes pictures. Somebody very, very pleasant, nice. And, and right now we protect ourselves when we go into these houses. So I think you really want to have more of a hybrid, and depending on the seller, depending on where you want to shift to more virtual, right? So some deals, like on one deal we recently did, the seller lives out of state, the house was on probate, and it's been vacant, right? But there was a key up under the mat, right? So,
good enough for me.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I love those, man. I ain't got to meet nobody.
So, I mean, you don't have to see. We never saw each other, so and it was a beautiful thing. But there's some other people that like to shake somebody's hand. So if that's what they like to do, then shake their hand. Just put gloves on, right? That's it.
Hand sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer, yeah.
Right here, baby.
Look at that, got a fresh bottle ready.
Everybody using this regular alcohol, 91% alcohol. Just
Yeah, I mean, we definitely got to be safe out there. It's a new operating environment for all of us and every industry, as a matter of fact. Like, things will just never really be the same, even after COVID-19 passes. Does that make sense? Because, somebody like itch their nose and you're like, what? He got
that Rona.
Yeah, for real. Like, my daughter sneezed and I was like, I gotta put you out. You know what I mean? Like, I asked her too. She's only 12, and I was like, what I gotta do? I gotta put you outside because you can't contaminate the whole house. You know what I mean? I love you and all, but you gotta go. So life would just never really be the same. But to echo the sentiments of, like, what do we do? Is it virtual? Is it in person? And all that stuff. I just want to preface the conversation by saying that our business is a human business, right? So long gone are the days when people are like, it's like business to business or business to customer and stuff. They kind of made it seem like the people who we're dealing with are not individuals that have feelings and they have thoughts and emotions, and they got situations, and they got family, and they got stuff going on, right?
Right.
So no matter what implementation strategy we choose to use within our business, all of it, the underlining supporting guideline and foundation for it must be that you are a human talking to another human, and you got to meet them where they're at. You know what I mean? So you got to meet them emotionally, physically, like not necessarily physically because we can't now, but emotionally and like just like spiritually where they're at. You know what I mean? Because you got to get into their mind. And also Sierra, she hit it on the head about making sure that you convey a really authentic message, that you are there to help them find a solution. That's how I close all of my creative deals, because I've done some really amazing stuff, like purchase it subject to, then ask the seller to take a seller held second for the money that I owe him at 0% finances with deferred payments. I mean, seriously.
And you don't know until you ask. A lot of people are afraid to even ask them were they willing to do that stuff. And you don't know what somebody's thinking. They might say, sure, whatever. I don't care. I just want to get rid of the house. Sign right here.
Right. So like my only holding cost was the commitment that I made to make their mortgage payments, and it was the cheapest money that I ever borrowed. Their rate at the time, they were not delinquent, nothing like that, and they were 2.5%. Like I had heartache when I sold the property. I was like, damn, that was some cheap money. That was some real cheap money. You can't even qualify
for that. Nobody can get 2.5%.
Right.
I got one at 3%. Don't tell nobody.
So with 0% on the second, I mean, come on.
Wow.
It was a beautiful thing. So my point here is always have an ear to hear and a heart to really connect compassionately with the people that you are loving on and really providing an exceptional service and a value for, no matter if it's virtual or in person or you're teaching one of your students. That's the first thing that I teach my students is NLP, right? Neuro-linguistic programming, so that they can actually understand that there's a right way to share your message and really connect with people, so that you can always kind of get the yes. Like you have a higher probability of having them agree with your creative strategy, and then always have multiple options available. So Mr. Stellar, I got 1, 2, and 3 different ways that I could purchase your house. Take a look at them and share with me which one you think you like the best. And if you don't like the other, share with me why you don't like them. Maybe we can meet in the middle and create some amazing synergy that works for the both of us. So, you know, it's okay. No matter if it's virtual, it's on a phone, or it's in person. That's what the primary focus is always should be, is that you're talking to another human, and it should be H2H. Human to human. H2H.
All right, meet them where
I'm gonna get away with that. I'm gonna get away with that. I'm gonna give you credit the first time, Jackie.
The first
time. Absolutely. Building that rapport is going to be key, especially during this time. That rapport, and also your follow-ups. You know, don't be afraid to follow up with people that you, or leads that you had maybe a year ago or 6 months ago. Their situation might be different right now with everything going on. So don't forget to follow up. But like I said, building that rapport is everything. I've had deals, you know, almost fall apart, but they didn't, because I had that relationship with the seller. So right now, use this time to build that relationship, be there for them. Real estate is a people business, but it's a very emotional business, because people are attached to these properties, their homes. So use this opportunity to build those relationships when you are presenting these deals to them.
Yeah, I would say it's, along with that is in terms of when you're doing stuff virtual, no matter how you're finding these people or anything like that, it's just to be really in tune with your messaging. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always a big proponent of empathy. You know what I mean? Sometimes if you're not actively meeting with sellers, I'm sure this does not happen. It doesn't happen to everybody, but it's sometimes you can lose touch and lose a sense of those buttons that you need to press in order to really help that person. So I'm always a big proponent of using empathy. You have to really jump into their shoes. So when it comes down to, you know, even crafting messages in terms of the coronavirus, you know, you want to make sure that people understand that we are here for you. We're not here to capitalize on your pain. You know what I mean? We're not here to capitalize on your struggle. So a lot of that is from getting involved and talking face to face with sellers and stuff like that, where you really learn that. You really learn what's really a pain point for them as well. But as long as you're keeping that sense and you're pushing the ball forward in terms of understanding what their pains are, and you never get lost in the sauce. I'm telling you, if you move into virtual And if you're not on calls like this and stuff like that, you don't keep your finger on the button and on the pulse, it can be hard to have the messaging, whether it comes down to marketing or sales, that really resonates with them. So you always, no matter what you're doing, whether it's virtual or whether it's in person, as long as you keep your finger on the pulse of it, then you won't have a problem at all, for sure.
That's right. You got to ask questions. My motto was ask 50 questions. If you ain't asked at least 50, you ain't asked enough. You don't know enough information because, you know, they'll tell you everything they're going to need to tell you to close them on the deal. So, you know, if you didn't ask, you won't know.
You got to use your tools too. We use, just like Zoom for this, like we're using Zoom for this, use Zoom for sellers because you can, like you said, empathy. It's a lot easier to let people know that you're serious and they see your face and they see what's going on behind. I've had Zoom calls where my kids come, you know, barging in and I'm talking with a seller. That it may seem like an inconvenience to me, but that does something to somebody who's trying to find authenticity in you and trying to see if you're real and if you can really follow through what you say you're doing. So use the tools that you have, you know, in your favor.
Makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, any more questions? We got a few more that we can run off. I want to be respectful of everybody's time, you know, but I'm sure this helps a lot of people. So we get a few more in here and we can get it rolling.
Yeah, someone over here, I guess they're asking specifically to the Facebook marketers. I guess that's almost all of you, but I know 2 of you love it more than others. They say once Facebook deactivates their Facebook account, is it possible to get it back? They asked for a review and they got disputed and they got denied. So they lost their Facebook account. They want to know if they can get it back. Are you aware of a way?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a number of different ways to do that. You know what I mean? Even if you know someone, you know, if perchance you know somebody like me or Fritz or someone that's really active, then there's chances are that we have different connections to representatives and things of that nature. So that would be a really good way because when you're advertising with a certain amount of money anyway, your budget, sometimes I don't think these Facebook representatives are the best. Sometimes we get on the phone with them, we know more than they do, but at the same time, they work for Facebook, so they have even links up to Facebook where it's like you have a direct person that you can reach out to that can help you navigate that situation. So that's one of the big ways that I see you can do it. And Fritz, I know you probably have some thoughts on this as well.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook is like the bank. You know, the more you spend, you know, your preferred customer, it's a lot easier to get help when you need it. So if you know somebody who has that pull, you know, reach out and they'll be able to help. But with Facebook, when it comes to getting denied, it's just like when it's like building rapport with a seller. You just got to keep going. You don't take no for an answer. Obviously, if you believe that what they're saying is incorrect, the thing with Facebook is you have to be persistent and you have to keep the message clear and stay persistent because not every time you get something reviewed, it may not be the same person reviewing it. So somebody else may, you know, they're all humans. People who review that stuff on Facebook, they're human. They may not. Some people, you know, they may hate their job. They may have a bad day. They may be like, you know what, everybody's getting denied today. You don't know what's going on in people's lives. So you just be persistent. Keep explaining that, all right, this is what I said before, and I've done this before, so this is not right. And eventually, it will get approved.
Yeah, and if it's your ad account getting denied, like deactivated, then maybe, you know, because this is a sensitive industry, you got to realize in real estate, this is why Mark Zuckerberg was in front of Congress. You know what I mean? They flipped this shit on everything just a few months ago. So you may want to even have 2 ad accounts, a backup one, just in case one gets deactivated. It's not all the time that they get deactivated, but sometimes it happens. So you want to make sure that you have assets in terms of images, videos, ad copy, all that type of stuff, and 2 ad accounts for the same business. That way, if one of them gets deactivated, you're not SOL. You know what I mean?
Wow. So they straight cutting people off out here for no reason.
But sometimes for no reason, sometimes it's for, you know, perceived reasons that it may have flagged them. But if you can like arm yourself with knowledge and become aware, and then if anything happens, like for me, I got locked out of my Facebook, my first Facebook a while ago. What all I did was go start a new Facebook. This is the one I'm broadcasting on now is a new Facebook with all new friends. You know what I mean? So sometimes this stuff happens to you, and then it's a bigger blessing as long as you handle it with the right response, you know, with a positive attitude. And so that's really worked out well for me. But keep 2 ad accounts, and then, you know, if it's ads that are getting deactivated, then it's just may be different type of wording, no negative wording and stuff like that. Because you got to remember, at the end of the day, Facebook wants people on the platform to have a pleasant experience. And if you're using negative terminology that repels them, Facebook's gonna have a problem. So, Jackie, I know you wanted to say something as well.
Yeah, just recently, not too long ago, I realized that there was a really, really small fine print, you know, on my business ads manager where like I could verify my account. And not many people do this, right? So it's a little bit, you know, tedious and so on. So Facebook wants to know, like, who are you? Are you a real person? You know, like, who are you? So mostly it is the question that they're asking you, like, do you intend to have like political posts or create any political ads? Well, no, I don't intend to create any political ads or anything like that. You know, that's not really my goal. But I want to intend, right? That's not my intention. But I really did want to get my account verified. So what it required was, you know, me uploading my driver's license, and you have to position it in a certain way. And, you know, they got to validate like your address and all kinds of really cool, like through USPS, you know, that kind of thing. And they just really want to know who you are. What I have found is that since I have done that and I have validated my account and I'm a real person and all that stuff, that I have less friction with them. Because I've been in Facebook jail a couple of times. Like I've been okay. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, I've been in Facebook jail. You know, first round is a couple of days, the second round is 7 days, and you mess around and get 30 days locked out in jail. You're like, oh my God, like your countdown is real, right? You can't post nothing, share nothing. I'll be telling my friends, I'll be like, I'm in Facebook jail. I can't share nothing with you. I can't even comment on your post. I'm so sorry. I love you anyway. Right? Like I'm
That's
under,
crazy.
like, you know, you have shared too much, you know, Facebook, like you have shared too much, right? So, but you know, you can validate your account, and you know, that's like one more step of credibility that you can have with these social media platforms. So that's a thing. Yeah, I don't know who that helps, but you know, it's something that someone can utilize.
Yeah, that's crazy. And like you were saying earlier, Jackie, I mean, with these social media platforms, I'm not loyal to none of them. They're all just platforms. I use them to grasp and reach people, meet people and stuff like that. But I'm not loyal to none of them because I've been in Facebook jail. I've been locked out of my Periscope account. They shut it off altogether. I mean, all type of stuff. All these different platforms, they have their own rules. So I don't really, you know, lock and step with, oh, I have to go ask them for permission. Man, I don't like it. I just never been built like that. So, you know, I would say, like you said, have multiple pages if you have to, or something crazy, because these people can cut you off for any reason or no reason at all, and ain't nothing you can do about it, really.
Okay, let's get one more question, and then if they have any more, then you know, I'm gonna send out everybody's info, and then Chris, you got your followers over there, and then you can reach out to them as well. And then we'll get some final thoughts, and then we out of here. But I definitely appreciate everybody for getting on, all the panelists, because this is a lot of time. I guess some of us, you know, we need some interaction anyway, but you know, still, you know, I mean, you got another one over there, Chris? I got.
Let's see here. No, not that I can see. Look like it's kind of some of the stuff y'all kind of already covered.
Okay, yeah, I think this one was covered. If it is, just let me know. But she said we would like to purchase our first rental. Which creative finance method would you suggest? If that's something that.
Yeah, so as far as that, it depends on who you're buying it from, and if you can actually solve that person's problem. If they're, you know, if they're willing to sell or finance it to you, that would be the best way to buy in some type of seller financing strategy. Whether it's, you know, you're going to create a brand new note if they don't have a mortgage, or you're buying it subject to if they do have a mortgage, or a wraparound mortgage if they, you know, want to keep that their debt to income ratio intact, where they can probably buy another house. So it's a couple of ways you could do it. But I would suggest, if you can buy creatively, do that, because you don't want to put all your cash into the deal. You know, I see a lot of people put a lot of money into these properties, and then, you know, 2 months down the line, they're like, oh man, I need to sell it, and trying to get money back on money they can't get back. That's not coming back. It's gone, counted as a loss. And you don't want to be in that position. You don't want to become a motivated seller yourself. So buy it smart, do your research, know your numbers, and make sure that your exit strategy and everything's going to make sense for your deal.
Awesome, that's what's up. Okay, well, I want to get some final thoughts from you all. I know we're running a lot. I mean, it wasn't no plan schedule, but I think that people would benefit from getting some final thoughts from anyone who wants to give some of those, and then we can close this boy right on out of here. But there's been a lot of great nuggets given, a lot of hope and inspiration to people, and you know, we appreciate you all for getting on as well. So anybody have any final thoughts that they would like to give, or any encouragement or anything like that, that'll last people even after this call, because it's kind of like getting a high on the call, and after you get out the call, you're like, well, damn, I really got to go do something. You know what I mean? So we don't want reality to set in on y'all, and we want to give you anything that you need to really go through that. So any final thoughts from anybody?
Yeah. Well, I would say this: maintain a level of momentum, because
Yeah.
during times like this, it's easy to get distracted with everything that's in the news, that's on Facebook, things like that. So just maintain a sense of momentum. Try to learn something new every day. I'm not saying you got to go out there and close 1,000,000 deals or do as many wholesale deals if that's what you're doing like you used to. But maintain a momentum because it will attract people to you. You know. Also, if you have something special about you, a skill or something like that, post it. Post it on Facebook Story Place, or post it online. Do a video. Just let people know who you are. Let them know what type of personality you have, and what service you offer. Not in a salesy way, but just let them know, hey, this is what I'm working on. If they want to reach out to me, reach out to you. But maintain momentum, and that will begin to attract a lot of things that you want in your life without having to work so hard all the time. So just be consistent and keep grinding.
Absolutely. Social media is a very, it's an awesome resource. And especially right now, everyone is at home on their phones, on their computers all day long. So this is really the time to really capitalize on that. Back when I was primarily focusing on wholesaling, I've had sellers, reach out to me just because they saw my social media platform, right? So right now is the time where you can utilize this free time that we have. People are on their phones and really focus on that. Another thing I want to touch on too, because what Chris was just talking about with the creative financing, it brings me back to when I first started, I was trying to do everything with my own money, right? So try to get creative and find ways to find money before you find the deal, right? Sometimes we work backwards. We're looking for deals. It's like, okay, now how am I going to get this deal done? I have no money. Start looking for money even when you have no deals, right? Because the deals are going to come, but you just have to make sure that you are in position. So if, make sure you guys are putting yourself in position during this time. So start networking, start connecting with people, find ways to, raise money if you don't have the money or have the resources. Find ways to do it. Put yourself in position so that when those deals do come, you can jump on them without hesitation.
Nice.
Also, one other thing I want to say also is work on your credit. If your credit is not in the 700s, figure out how to get it in the 700s. Because I remember my credit was low because I wasn't really focused on it, right? Because a lot of deals I do, I partner up with people, and I had teammates that had good credit, so we were good. You know what I mean? As long as one of us had good credit, right? But sometimes, you and your partner or whatever, your partners kind of go your separate ways for whatever reason, because it's best, y'all still friends or whatever. But you really want to work on your credit and get into the 700s, whether it's renting trade lines, cleaning up your credit if you have bad credit or if you have no credit, whatever it is. You really want to take this time to spend, the next, 3, 4, 5, 6 months if you have to really jump your credit score up, right? Because what that does, especially as an entrepreneur, not just in real estate, but any entrepreneur, is it makes you look more favorable to banks that lend credit, right? And when you have business credit, right, and the more responsible you are with the business credit, right, they will allow you to get more business credit. And I'm telling you, in no time, in less than say 12 months or 14 months or 18 months, you can have 6 figures, multiple 6 figures in credit, when on the personal side, you may have only got $15,000 to $25,000 on the card. You really thought you were doing something. And I'm just here to tell you, you're really not, right? So you really want to take that time to really work on your credit, do even more networking online. If you see somebody rocking, just reach out to them. Don't be a leech or anything like that, but just chop it up with them and just keep it moving and come back, chop it up with them like that. And I'm telling you, you do that, continue to learn. When we got this thing or in the midst of this thing, you'll win.
Just to piggyback off what Dee said, don't be afraid to give out. So a lot of people are afraid to spend money right now because you already know people are afraid to spend money. But a lot of big businesses, what they do in times like this is they invest into things that you can't physically see. They take the time to improve things behind the scenes that make your process run a lot better, and invest in things that bear fruit later on. So for example, we all say that we like lease options. We all love lease options. When you get somebody on a lease option, you can partner up with, I know several people who own credit businesses. You can partner up with somebody who owns a credit business and pay for that person to get their credit fixed. Because the goal is to to have them cash everybody out anyways. So you can have good credit. You can make sure the people that you're doing business with on a lease option can have good credit, and that's an investment we're willing to make all day, every day. If we're about to do a lease option with you and we want you to cash us out, we don't mind paying. And oftentimes we get reduced rates because we'll partner up with somebody. We'll get reduced rates. We'll pay for them to get their credit up. And in 6 months, a year, their credit will be way better than what was before. And the chances of them cashing you out are way higher than they were before. So it's a win-win-win situation for everybody. So don't be afraid to spend money on certain stuff like that. Even if it is private money, it doesn't even have to be your own money. Use private money for that. Be strategic in how you use your money. And it doesn't always have to be in marketing. It can be in other things that improve your business and bring you bear fruit later on.
Mm. Gems.
Great bars in here. So yeah, I would agree with what y'all said. And to piggyback on what Sierra said, getting that social media straight is important. I've had customers actually go check my social media and say, "Oh wow, you really do real estate and you're really serious about this." And they did a deal with me just because based on social media presence. It's very important. It's too easy to Google somebody, look them up, see are they serious or what are they doing? Are they just a jive turkey? What are they doing? And they find out, hey, it's the real deal. You like jive turkey? But that, and then also when you do help somebody in business, get a testimonial from them. If you can get a video, that's even better, because I posted up videos of customers that I've helped in the past, and that's got me more business as well. Always be thinking about the future. How can I make next year better than this year? You know, when you position yourself for that, everything will open up for you. It don't seem like it right now because everybody's worried about the Rona, but eventually it's going to clear up. And probably going to go back through it again in the wintertime, but we ain't even talking about that. But you still have to be in position to make yourself better going forward in the future.
Right on. That's live. Go ahead. You got it.
Okay. So I just bought this new book. It's kind of backwards because obviously I'm showing it like that. But it's called Negative Self-Talk and How to Change It. Negative Self-Talk and How to Change It, right? By some really cool PhD guy. All right, cool. So my point here is this. One of the biggest things that you can do for yourself is quiet that inner voice that talks back to you when you have like those conversations when you're brushing your teeth. Like that's a real thing, right? So knowing how
I thought that was just me.
You know, it's not just you. Right. And you know, that voice be telling us to be doing some crazy things. Like you have an argument with someone who's not even present. I wish they would, you know what I mean? Like you be having those kind of conversations and they're not even there. It never even happened. So all of those thoughts really influences our decision-making process and how we feel about ourselves and our life and our capabilities and what we're, you know, able to do. And it's important for you to know how to manage that. So in this time here, it's important to do the inner work. You know, we spend a lot of time on the outside stuff, you know, the things that we think that we can influence and, you know, manipulate. But when it comes on to actually working on ourselves and addressing those personal things within us, we tend to shy away from that because that's where the real work comes in. You know what I mean? So this is a great opportunity to really do some personal and self-development and actually transformation, because this is our Super Bowl. This is our World Cup. This is our moment to shine. We got the ball and we can run as far as we can absolutely go. Chris is ready. He's going, but only the fit will endure. We don't want to fumble. We don't want to fall. And a lot of times what trips us up as entrepreneurs is all of that personal stuff that we got going on in the background that's unresolved and incomplete. So this is a really great time for us to just address and take care of all of ourselves instead of compartmentalizing our lives and really putting, you know, 100% effort over here, but yet still, you know, we're overweight and, you know, we can't breathe and we got this, you know, besides Rona chasing us, you know, we got this diabetes chasing us, we got all this stuff chasing us, we got, you know, all of this drama in our life that's like holding us back from our best lives. And that's what I would leave the conversation with.
Absolutely. I love that. You can't build a house on a foundation that's not solid. And that's how I think about my businesses all the time. You know, you can't build a solid business when you're not solid yourself. So I love that. You definitely have to work on your personal development just as much as you're going to work on your business structure.
That's what I was going to say. Personal development, and you know, anybody that's home, that's work. Well, of course, most of us are at home, but if this is like, if there's extra time that's been created for you, and I'm sure there's been extra time created for most of us. If we can't go to the store, we can't go out and do many things. There's been extra time created somewhere for us. You know, even if you have to claim an hour out of that time that you probably sleeping most of the day away. You know, personal development, you know, it's so many different things, you know, Audible books, you know, if you can't, you can download books, you can listen to YouTube videos and things like that. Become a student of whatever area in your life that you want to create the, you know, the best option for yourself the most. You know, if it's real estate, study real estate, study it. You know, even if you are experienced in it, continue studying. I like, you know, what he said earlier about the momentum, you know, keeping the momentum up, you know, don't let the momentum die, you know, because there are certain things happen that have slowed down the business of real estate. But keeping the momentum and keeping, you know, these are the times, you know, I don't know if, you know, many people may have heard the saying, you know, somebody's, two men are chopping down the tree. One is just start this chopping, and the other one spends his time sharpening his axe. And then it takes him less time to chop down the tree. This is axe sharpening season. Sharpen your axe. So, you know, you can take advantage of the opportunities that will become available in every area, not just real estate, you know, the retail area, different areas, you know, there are going to be opportunities that will be created if you sharpen your axe in the areas that you want to focus on the most in your life. You're going to come out of this thing on fire. Don't sleep the day away. Believe me, I thought I was going to try that, but I'm not built like that. It just won't work for me. But just you know, if it's an extra hour out of the day, find the time, become a student of what you want to do most in your life, and respect. This is one thing I want to make sure I say, respect this business of real estate investing. If you're in this business, respect it. It's not a hobby. The hobbyists that were doing this before, that we're doing this to make a couple dollars here and there, the light is going to be shined on them, and they're going to run like, you know, I mean, I grew up in the hood. I grew up in the hood, so they run like roaches. So maybe y'all don't know nothing about that, but but the light's going to be shining on those people who were, as one person says, we're faking. You know, and those will be opportunities that will be created for those of us that stick and stay in this game, that have sharpened our axe and became students of what we're continuously doing. So thank you again for allowing me to be a part of this. I appreciate it.
No doubt, man. We appreciate you all having on. For those of you watching, man, look, like you said, man, time is going to reveal all. So we're going to see 7, 8, 9 months from now who is really in the trenches. So don't get it twisted with all of this kumbaya out here. Like, you need to start stepping on necks right now. That don't mean like, you know, that Jordan documentary is about to come out. He said y'all gonna hate me for that documentary. Like, you need to start getting fired up about some of this stuff. We damn near 3 weeks, 4 weeks in. It's not time for people to be like, you know, like, what's happening. That period of time was week 1. Week 2 was like, all right, how am I gonna figure this out? Week 3, you should be getting a little more comfortable. By week 4, it should be already over with. You know what I mean? You should already be adjusted to having all them kids at home. You know what I mean? To be all the things that you need to do, to having the extra drama for being with your spouse a little bit more. You should already be accustomed to that. And now it should be like less of it. Okay, look, I'm gonna just cruise my way. Some people only have to cruise their way. Sometimes only for you to step into your purpose, it only takes you, you know, cruising your way to the finish line. And then after that period of time, it's going to be like you went from running on sand to running on land. Some of us, you know, we're going to go hard through the whole thing. So I don't want people to get caught up in the sense of, you know, I'm going to just flow through this, so I don't need to take this seriously, or I need to lose my sense of being a competitive edge. I'm not saying compete against other people, but the competition between you and yourself. You know what I mean? This is a time for you to harbor your energy and to use it wisely, but go hard with it. You know what I mean? And so I see a lot of beef going on out here, which I think is useless. And I see a lot of kumbaya, hurrah out here as well, which is great to be collaborative. But don't think for a second out here that there's not other people that are going to really set this, you know what, on fire. You know what I mean? So we appreciate y'all for getting on here, and I appreciate y'all as my brothers and sisters. And take care of your health, man. The reason why Black people, you know, we're really the numbers, if you go look at the numbers are off. The way that we're dying in comparison to other people, they are way totally off, you know, and it comes down to having access to better insurance, better health care. You know, there's a lot of diabetes and a lot of high blood pressure. The corona is affecting us because our systems are already overburdened with this type of stuff. So educate yourselves and your family. Reverse that process. Instead of eating so bad and passing it along to your future generations, step up and reverse that. You know what I mean? Have a healthy meal and, you know, teach your kids about cheat meals and stuff like that. And because your business is a reflection of you anyway. So if you gas, your business gonna be gas, baby. So we appreciate y'all for getting on, man.
Before you get off, Alvin, can we get everybody's social media? Because I know the people gonna watch this on a replay and they're gonna be like, I liked her, or I liked him, or where I find him.
Yeah, they're gonna be saying that. They're
gonna be asking me, and I'm gonna say, hey, can y'all say where y'all social media is and stuff?
Yeah. Tell us where y'all from. That's a good point, my brother. Yeah, everybody go run them off real quick.
Who's going first?
Well, I'll tell you about me. My name is Chris Monroe, the student master teacher, Mr. I Stay Woke. So yeah, you can follow me on all social media. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all social media at Chris Monroe STL. Easy to find. Chris Monroe STL on all social media.
Nice. Go ahead,
Mine's pretty simple too, right? So you can follow me on all, like a whole bunch of platforms. The names are all the same. So Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all of them are the Jackie Jackson, because I am the only one wearing money, right? So the Jackie Jackson, and that's where you can find me. All right. So, and that's also my URL from my website is the Jackie Jackson. So I look forward to talking to anybody who wants to connect.
Nice. Yeah, they're gonna find you. What about you, Greg?
Okay, well, I'm Greg T-Shine. That's SHYNE. I'm on all my social media. On Instagram, I'm _real estate _cowboy.
Yeehaw, baby.
But you can type in my name, you can find me anyway.
All right, let me see. Glenn, what you got, brother?
Man, I'm trying to be as simple as everybody else, but you know, I'm all over the place, man. You know, I'm still trying to figure this stuff out. But I am Glenn Glasper on Facebook, and then I'm Mr. Dollar Out of a Dime on Instagram, and Real Life Real Estate Investing on Instagram and Facebook and all the rest of them. Real Life Real Estate Investing and Mr. Dollar Out of a Dime. You can find me on most of them.
Nice. What about you, Fritz?
You can find me on Instagram, Fritz Joseph, and then the number 8, and on same thing on YouTube, Fritz Joseph. Oh, well, on YouTube it's just Fritz Joseph. So you go youtube.com/Fritz Joseph, you'll find me. And then same thing with Facebook, Fritz Joseph. You should be able to find me.
Okay, cool. Sierra, did you already go? No, I don't think you went.
No, not yet. Facebook, you can find me at Sierra Nicole is my profile. You can add me, I'll add you back. My Facebook group, the My Abundant Life, you can find me there too. On YouTube, you can find me at Sierra Nicole TV. You can find me on TikTok now, Financially Lit is my TikTok name. Instagram, Sierra Nicole Official and Financially Lit Official. You guys see Financially Lit, that's mine. We're all about financial education, about, you know, real estate, credit, business credit, entrepreneurship, all that good stuff. So that's where you guys can find me. I'm on basically everything. I'm on LinkedIn too, under Sierra Nicole.
Awesome. And D, where can they find you, my brother, the meme god, baby?
For the memes. It's D Stevens. D Stevens on Facebook. Just look for the memes, right? D Stevens on Facebook. That's where you'll find me.
All right, you can find me on Facebook, Alvin Tucker II, or you can find me on Instagram. It's Forbes Bound Baby, because y'all already know.
That's what it is.
They appreciate you. Have a phenomenal rest of your day, rest of your week. If you want to connect with anybody, do it. Don't even waste no time. Don't worry about if you're bothering them or anything like that. We all would be happy to help in any way we can. So peace and love, y'all.
Y'all be good.
All right.
It's like